Welcome back. BronxArtSpace recently presented an opening reception to a new exhibition called Giving Light, an art antidote to gun violence. The show features 11 artists and has been curated through the lens of a mother, community organizer, and Bronx resident. Joining us now to share more is community liaison and curator Beverly Emers, accompanied by Leslie Lee, the founder of Soulbox Project, a project meant to raise awareness of the U.S. gunfire epidemic. Welcome. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to be here.
Great to see you. So Beverly, please tell us about your curatorial debut exhibition, Giving Light and Art Antidote to Gun Violence.
Yeah, so just to give a little background, the epidemic of gun violence as a mother, it has sort of instilled fear in me, and it's been on my mind for quite some time. And also being a victim of gun violence through a domestic violence relationship, I just felt compelled to do something, and just in response to what I was feeling, and just sorting through my own trauma and questions that I had, and just having the opportunity, being in an art space, and being able to find artists that communicate what I was feeling, has been an awesome experience. And it's really, I really just want to focus mostly on trauma. How do we heal from it? Because unaddressed, it kind of perpetuates and it shows up in different areas. And just living in the Bronx, I know we just need a lot of healing because of things that are happening in our daily lives here.
Thank you, Beverly, for sharing your own testimony and reasoning behind sharing this incredible exhibition with Bronxites. We were able to visit on behalf of BronxNet to cover the show, and it was incredibly impactful and touching and everything above. So, thank you for curating such an incredible experience. I know some people may be wondering, what is some of the art that's featured? Can you share a preview of maybe 1 to 2 pieces in the show and tell us a little bit about them?
Sure. Well, one of the pieces that stood out that I related to the most was a piece called Trigger Words by an artist named Felix. And I just felt like we were identifying because she used her son as a muse in the piece. And it was sort of like she was mirroring what I was feeling as a parent, her and her son, just the fear. And also, becoming, moving from victim to perpetrator. And this also sheds light on how unhealed trauma can kind of perpetuate a cycle. Like if you're not dealing with your own trauma, then maybe you will then victimize someone else. So I felt very connected to that piece. The other piece was More Than Just a Hashtag by Tasha Duje. And in her piece, she reflects on how many lives have been lost, particularly brown and black bodies have been lost to gun violence, and how it's just reduced to a hashtag and people are not honoring their lives and lifting them up. It was also a learning experience for me because part of the piece, it reflected on the art of kintsugi, which is a Japanese art form of mending broken pottery together. And I kind of related that to my own life, right? And just the brokenness, but just putting myself together, and the cracks are dusted by gold, and the things that may have seemed as imperfections become the thing that defines you, the things that give you beauty. So More Than Just a Hashtag, it made me do some research, and I'm embracing it. And I'm also considering, hey, we need to do a kintsugi class at Bronx Art Space. Yeah.
Right. Now that would be amazing. And I didn't know about that art, the
Yeah.
kintsugi practice in the past. So I'm glad that this is coming to the Bronx and we're learning about these different practices through art by Bronx local artists as well. I think the two
Yes,
artists
yes.
you mentioned are actually from the Bronx as well, right, Beverly?
Yes, they are. And I just wanted to add that Morrissey grew up around the corner from Art Space. And just her being there, a lot of individuals that may have not entered the space came to support her. So I'm really glad about that it just gave us a further reach to the local community.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize that Bronx Art Space is an inclusive art environment for the entire community to come and
Yes.
visit and enjoy art and take it all in. So I love it personally. So Beverly, something you mentioned is that Giving Light highlights trauma, but it also highlights healing. Can you tell us why it was important to focus on the healing aspect from gun violence?
Well, I lead through my own experiences, and healing's been important for me. And so I particularly, so the thought is my processes, because I had a lot of trauma, what I consider trauma in my childhood, because I was treated aggressively by my mother, but it was sort of passed on to her, and it's being passed on. And so I know that I had sort of embraced that the thing that was passed on to me, and being very mindful how I treat my son, like, as far as putting my hands on him or how I talk to him. This is very real, and I see it like all around me, and I wanted to break the cycle. But then also, I believe that in the development of children, when we're getting treated aggressively, that kind of sets, the pace for who we are. And I just think that is really important to look at how we heal and how we perpetuate it in the community. I know that I'm not a social worker or a scientist, but I know that the body keeps the score, right?
Mhm.
So when you go through trauma, it has to go somewhere. So I offered up the art exhibit. We are doing some healing circles and some other things that will carry on. So it's not about the exhibits. Like, how could we be honest with each other, and how could we heal together?
Right, having those conversations, and we're definitely going to share some of those events happening in the programming at the space a little later on. But speaking of healing, we have Leslie Lee here from Soulbox Project, and she has some beautiful boxes behind her. Leslie, can you tell us about the Soulbox Project?
Yes, and I'm so pleased that Beverly found us and wants to make the Soulbox Project part of the healing in her exhibit, because this is exactly what we wanted to have happen. The Soulbox Project is a community act of artivism. It's national. It's something that I started after the Las Vegas shooting in 2017, when I was just shocked into looking at the statistics, and the numbers of deaths and injuries by gunfire was just so huge that I just thought, these are not comprehensible. Our brains aren't wired to understand numbers like that. I mean, we can say that over 70,000 people are killed or injured by gunfire a year, but unless somehow we can see it and feel it, it might you might not be moved to do anything about it. And so we've asked people all over the country to make these small origami boxes, and they're coming together into exhibits. It's it's a lot parallel to the AIDS quilt in that regard. And so what we're doing with these exhibits is showing people the numbers, and the boxes themselves often have names or messages on them, or sometimes they're just plain boxes, which are often holding space for suicide victims whose names we don't know, which are over half of gun deaths in the US. So being part of um, having this come to the exhibit in the Bronx, where people can come and make folding these boxes part of their healing, is extremely powerful. I mean, we have lots of testimonials from people who are saying, I didn't realize how much it would mean to me to fold one of these origami boxes and then know that my small piece of art is going to be part of this huge revealing of the numbers.
Oh, beautiful project. And thank you for sharing, Leslie. You have a big event coming soon to Washington, D.C., actually. Can you please tell us about this event and how Bronxite can participate to have their soul boxes featured there?
Yeah, we've been planning to exhibit these boxes on the mall for some time. We were going to do it last October. COVID stopped that. We were going to do it in April. COVID's still stopping that. This is going to be in October of 21. And so we will be on the exhibit, on the mall, exhibiting these panels, and also thousands and thousands and thousands more boxes that are contained in large bags that are going to be carried. They're clear bags that will be carried by people in procession. So we're guessing about 400 people, maybe more, to carry these things in. And we have to realize that what we're going to see when it's all said and done is only going to represent 2019, 20, and 21 to that point. You know, I mean, it's just the numbers, when you see them like that stacked up, is overwhelming. So we would like people to participate by coming to DC and carrying, you know, being in the procession, helping carry these boxes in. But they're also welcome to make boxes, send them into the project. We're out here in Portland, Oregon, and we will try to get them onto these panels before the exhibit. They'll need to come in before August in order for us to get them into the exhibit. But we'll try to do that if we can.
Absolutely. And Beverly, let's get our Bronxites on board with this amazing project. How can people make a soul box over at BronxArtSpace?
Okay, so we have a station. However, the Soulbox Project hosts virtual workshops every other week. I encourage everyone to go to their website and look. If we need to just be a drop-off location until August, the exhibit is open until April. But I'm making the commitment to be a collection site. This is a partnership. So you could reach out to BronxArtSpace, go to Soulbox Project, meet the staff and all the individuals making these soul boxes every other week. Yeah, and you know, hopefully, you know, once the COVID it eases, other art organizations could join in. We have a lot of cultural institutions in the Bronx. Just reach out. Just reach out. We got you. BronxArtSpace, we got you.
Absolutely. And finally, just an invitation to the Given Light and Art Antidote to Gun Violence exhibition, and you know, until when it'll be and what times you'll be open.
Yeah, so we're open Thursday and Friday from 12 to 5, Saturday from 12 to 6. The exhibit ends April 8th. Please check our website. We're gonna have a day of healing where you come get some breath work done, get an aura cleansing. We have the Mott Haven Film Festival. We have a 3-day dance series. We have things for you to do. We have things for you to do. So please check out the website. And you can also check for us on Instagram.
At BronxArtSpace. Thank you so much, Beverly and Leslie, for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beverly Emers is the curator and community liaison at BronxArtSpace, and Leslie Lee is the founder of Soulbox Project. Well, that's all for our show today. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, wishing you and your family safety and wellness now and always. Take care, everyone.